How's everybody doing? This is Ruben once again with philosophy. I want to go ahead and just give you a little bit of knowledge. You don't have to believe it, but open up your mind to what if? What if this is true, right? That's all I'm asking. So, in Chinese medicine, for thousands of years, in ancient scriptures from the Chinese, they have shared and explained that the body has what they call meridians, sort of like channels all over your body that connect like a highway. They all connect. Channel from the leg connects to your stomach connects to your other leg. There's connections all over your body for your head, your eyes, all of that. This is their belief. And they explain that for you to go ahead and live a healthy life, for you to live a happy life, for you to go ahead and smile and not be depressed, but be enthusiastic, these channels cannot be blocked. They have to be open because in their belief, what they call chi energy, is like your spirit or your soul that travels all throughout these channels, and that is what gives you life. Like the breath of God is flowing through all these channels. And as I mentioned, they believe that these channels should not be blocked, because when a channel is blocked, that's when pain occurs, whether it's health, emotional, mental. So when someone has anxiety, they believe that there's certain channels that are blocked. The energy is not flowing as it should. When someone has a health issue as well, maybe they have some bad kidneys, maybe they have some sort of disease. They believe that the reason for that is that the channels are not flowing as they should. And they, as I mentioned, they explain that these channels should always be clear, right? How does one of these channels get blocked? The number one reason is trauma, negative beliefs, mainly emotional experiences that are negative, that you are not letting go. You know how people say, just let it go, forgive that person, just let it go. What do they really mean when they say that? Well, let's go to what the Chinese ancient texts explain, that these energy channels are blocked and the energy cannot flow freely. And the main reason for that, they explain that it's emotional trauma, emotional experience that are negative. For example, let's say that you had an accident, right? And you broke your leg. Or maybe you fell and went unconscious. Well, they believe that all these experiences that happen to you throughout your life, they block the channels. So they say that you must go ahead and unblock them. And this is where acupuncture comes. Everybody heard of it, the needles that they put, all over your body. The reason they do that is to open up the channel, make it a little bit wider, so the energy can flow. And many people thousands of people have, you know, have said that it has helped them. They feel better emotionally, they feel better mentally, they feel better physically, or they recover better, and so forth, right? There's also other ways where you just don't have to go ahead and spread the channel, make it wider so energy can flow from the blockage that has occurred. There's ways to blow it out, to take away that block. And I've explained this before in my videos and to many of you guys, that you are the only one that can go ahead and unblock them. So let's say you had a bad breakup, a bad divorce, a bad experience with someone, or maybe you had an accident and you just can't let go of that trauma, or you experienced something horrific, right? All those things get stuck with you if you don't let them go. So the best way is that you let them go. But for some of you, it may be very hard. You just can't let go, right? So this is why I emphasize the importance of reading positive information, watching positive information, trying to go ahead and change your mindset, your beliefs, your habits mentally to positive ones. You know, the more you cut your grass, if you cut your grass regularly, you're cutting, the bad grass that is there, or the things that you don't want. So you're keeping your grass clean. But one of the main ways is explained in biblical texts in the Bible, and that is confession. Confessing your sins is what they call it. The Catholic Church has this belief strongly in the religion, where you go to a priest and you confess your sins. And in the New Testament, the apostle John really went into it when he said, you must confess your sin. That's the way that you'll get saved. So what is confessing your sin? Well, basically talking. This is why therapy is so reached out, because there you're allowing yourself to go ahead and go through the experience, face it by talking about it. So you have to face your fears. That way they'll go. But most people don't want to face them. This is why therapy works so well, because you have someone that has studied to a certain point the mental triggers, and they can go ahead and guide you to right beliefs. They can go ahead and guide you to comfort, so you can go ahead and release those beliefs. So therapy is great. Talking to a psychologist that can help you go ahead and face those fears, that's a great way. And there's other ways that this can work as well. By talking to someone that listen, that is why people who listen more than they talk always have friends. They have an abundance of friends, because most people nowadays, they talk more than they listen. So you should you should listen. When you listen, you give the other person comfort so they can go ahead and express themselves. Also, this is why I talk about vocabulary and how you must go ahead and upgrade it on a higher level, so you can go ahead and express yourself. Many people have all these things deep inside, the blocks, and they can't let it out because they don't know how to. One of the main ways is through talking. If you can't express yourself because you have a very low vocabulary, then that thing gets bottled up, and at a certain point it might just erupt. This is how violent um, things happen. That's how people, commit violent acts, because they have all that bottled in. Another great way, and I explained it before, is TFT, thought field therapy, which is tapping on certain parts of your body, and that is sort of like uh, a big wind that blows the blocks out. So whenever you have anxiety, you have a certain fear, you have a certain phobia, thought field therapy can work. Look it up online, just Google it, thought field therapy. There's another similar technique called EFT, emotional freedom technique, and it works as well. But the original one is TFT, discovered by a psychiatrist named Roger Callahan. So that's a great way. That's a tool that you have at your disposal anytime you don't need anybody to go ahead and help you. You can just, you have a certain fear, you have a certain phobia, you learn through TFT what points to tap, and that emotion clears. So maybe something really bad happened. Through thought field therapy, you learn what works best for you, what points you can tap to go ahead and clear any emotional blockages designed for you. So that's a great way. Another way, I mean, it's very controversial, and I won't speak too much on it, but it's what's called Dianetics. Dianetics is a technique developed by L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. So basically, it's similar to a therapy, but on a more deeper level. You sit with someone that listens, and basically you let all your emotions out. You face your fears, you face those emotions you've had for years. Maybe a bad breakup, a bad divorce, a violent incident. Maybe you had an accident, and all those, add up and add up to the point that you become a broken person. So you have to go ahead and relieve these emotional blockages, and that's by letting them out through talking, and that equals to you facing them. So it's very important. There's a lot of techniques out there. Just look at my past videos. I'm coming out with a course that will go ahead and help you and relieve it yourself. I'm coming out with a course real soon that's really going to help you guys to go ahead and face these fears. I'm going to show you techniques that you probably never even heard of. I'm going to go deeper on these things that I'm talking about, from the TFT to other things known as the Sedona method. There's thousands of ways, and we're going to go deep into it to the point that you don't need anybody. You can do it yourself. And that's the power that the Bible talks that is within you. You don't need anybody. God power, the Father, is in you. So, and that will go ahead, and I will talk about how guilt is the root cause. Imagine if you could get rid of your guilt. Maybe you did something that you weren't supposed to. So many things, right, that we feel guilty for. Maybe you feel guilty because you haven't been there for your parents. Maybe you feel guilty because you haven't been there for your kids. You haven't been there for a friend, or you did some things that you're ashamed of. Imagine getting rid of all of that. That is what my course will be about. Very soon it's coming out. I'm just putting some final touches. Basically, the recording sessions are done. I just have to go ahead and put them all together and find a way to go ahead and the best way to go ahead and share it with you guys. So all the information, the project is done. I just need to put it together. The recordings, the videos, the audios, everything's done. So very soon you'll see my course. So I love you guys. Stay positive.